Frustration is mounting and anger is growing with the liberals and passive politicians. Learn the playbook of those who are trying to destroy our country from the blue-collar professor. He teaches, he leads, he speaks out for truth and justice. Now, the educator of all things conservative, your host, Dr. Gavin Mitchell.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to it, the Friday edition of the program. Can you believe the week has already walked right by us? We continue to take the left to school, exposing them for who and what they really are, all while arming the hardworking people of this country, like you and me, with knowledge we need to hold our elected officials accountable. But fear not. Unlike the leftist classrooms out there in academia, you will find no safe zones here. Why? Because we believe in the First Amendment. If you would like to connect with the program, you can do so a number of ways. We are on the web at www.thegavinmitchellshow.com. We're on Twitter at The GM Show. Facebook, still kicking it around, ladies and gentlemen, so stick tight with us on that. I will keep you updated. Now, there is so much to get to, my goodness. I had the extreme privilege yesterday of heading over to the Blaze Studios. They are here in the Dallas area. And I was a guest on the Tommy Lahren Show. Now, Tommy was out, so Lawrence Jones sat in, and it was a great conversation. While it was brief, it was a great conversation over the transgender bathroom situation at the Fort Worth ISD. And we know a lot of what's gone on there. We talked about it in the program, and we had a nice exchange. And hopefully all of Tommy's audience is made aware of what's going on here in Fort Worth and across the country, quite frankly. The North Carolina fight, while it's not the first battle in this war, it's quickly grown to the one that's drawn the most attention. And we know that the Obama administration, with Attorney General Loretta Lynch as the hitman, has tried to intimidate North Carolina in backing down by threatening to remove almost $5 billion a year in funding and a lawsuit. Well, North Carolina responded by suing first, saying, stay out of our business. This is an overreach. You're out of bounds. We have heard from Texas Attorney General Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and the Texas Attorney General has sent a letter to Fort Worth ISD saying, look, you're out of bounds here too. And the problem is that this Obama administration is so set on pushing their leftist agenda on us. That's what they're trying to do here, that they have decided to loosely redefine terms that have been in place and been interpreted a different way for decades. And what I'm speaking of here is this whole idea of discrimination and how sex is a protected class. Whether you're male or female, those are supposed to be two distinct and opposite groups, but equal groups. And you're not supposed to discriminate if you feel it's a man's job, but a woman's qualified. You can't do that. You can't say women only at this water fountain. You can't say men only in this restaurant. Those things make sense. But none of these protected classes embark into penetrate the expected privacy one has when they enter a public restroom, especially when it refers to school children and places of education, all the way through state-funded or federally funded colleges. Those universities, there is an expectation of privacy. And so that's where the debate falls. Is transgender a sex? No, it's an identity. I may think of myself as a superhero ninja type guy. That may be how I identify. But that doesn't mean it's a protected class. Do you understand where I'm at with this? That it's not a protected class, but the Obama administration is stretching these definitions, turning it into what they want, and what they're doing is creating victims. It's what the left does, but this is a unique play. This is a desperate play by the left, because now they are using our children as sacrificial pawns to promote their cause. They are now taking our kids, high school, middle school, junior high, elementary school kids, and they're making them the face of this fight. And it's disgusting. The superintendent here in Fort Worth made a comment during one of his press conferences over this situation that they had one incident in the past school year that this would have even been relevant. They had one student who was concerned about being transgender, so on and so forth. Now, maybe the fact that it's right in the heart of Texas and in a more conservative state, in a more conservative area, that the numbers are less. But even when you look at the national numbers, we're talking about a fraction of a % of the entire population that we're worried about hurting their feelings. And we're not addressing the safety and concerns of the majority. Now, you can't discriminate against a minority based on certain things, but gender identity is not one of them. It's a choice. And if you listen to the Matt Locke show this week, he actually cited a study by a psychologist who has dealt with transgender individuals for decades. And he said the only conclusion that I can come to at all is that this whole transgender problem, this gender confusion, transgender individuals, it's not a biological driver. They're not born this way. It's something in their head. It's a mental distortion of some sort. And that's somebody who has studied this type of situation more than the rest of us. He has the science behind him. You hear the left, oh, well, these climate change deniers, they're not looking at the science. Well, we are. But they always cite science. Well, here you go. Here's some science to cite. And they're saying that this is a decision. This is something that's between your ears. There is nothing biologically or genetically that differentiates a transgender person from a non-transgender person. Period. End of sentence. And so we go back to this whole issue, and this whole thing is on how we are going to define the term sex when it comes to the Civil Rights and Liberties Acts and the protection of these classes that you can't discriminate against. That's what's on the table. Now, before we get into the moves the Obama administration has made, I want to underscore my point. I want to tell you why this is important to me, and we've spent a great deal of time on it. It's not important to me because I'm on some type of moral crusade to strike down the transgender community. That's not it. It's not a crusade in which I just feel like I'm better than the other person, and that's the end of the discussion, and here we are. I'm not even so much concerned, well, I am a little bit, of somebody who honestly believes they're transgendered, who thinks, my God, made a mistake, as ludicrous as that sounds, and decides to go into the other restroom when it's vacant. My concern, simply put, is the predators, those with thinking distortions, those with deviant sexual desires, when they try to take advantage of this law, because the threshold is so low to qualify. All you have to do is say, I identify as, and your ticket's punched. And think about the trouble that opens up. Think about the slippery slope we're facing here. Think about that age in which your daughter is now old enough to go to the restroom by themselves. Maybe you're having a daughter-daddy day. And you're going to, as you come home, you're going to go to Target. And you're going to pick up the missus some flowers from you and your daughter just to say, hey, thinking about you, just a kind gesture. And your daughter needs to go to the restroom. And let's say she's 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, old enough to go to the restroom by herself, but definitely not old enough to be left unattended at the house or to go out on her own or things like that. That age is what I'm talking about. And she walks into the restroom, and a guy who has told the Target manager, I self-identify as a woman, decides to go in behind her with ill intent. So you think about the risk and the reward for such a move. And this is me laying this out, that I have thought about this objectively. I don't think I'm better in God's eyes than somebody who's transgender. I don't think that somehow morally I'm higher than the individuals who think. Not at all. Remember, my measuring stick is Christ, and we all fall short. All sin is created equal. I'm not casting stones at these people. I'm just not promoting their action. I don't promote some of the action I do. I fall short. I'm a human being. And so this isn't me being critical of them not living up to the standard of Christ. That's not what this is at all. This is me saying this opens the door for predators and people who have the intention of hurting our sons and daughters, our wives, our sisters, our mothers, those people. Not necessarily the transgender. So when you look at the slippery slope and the risk at enforcing these type of rules and laws, all the way down to the elementary school level, versus not enforcing it and maybe hurting the feelings of a small few, is this really a chance we want to take? Is this really something we want to do? Do we want to compromise the moral fabric of this country to that level? And my answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. But in the left's effort to make everyone the same, to find a way to victimize as many people as they can, to bring them over to the fold, to increase their power so they can line their pockets, in that effort, they are compromising the well-being and they are compromising the security of our families and our communities. And instead of leaving this up to the community, where maybe in some liberal town, it's full of transgender people. Do what you want there. I don't care. But don't bring it here. Let it be a local issue. Let it be exactly what the founding fathers intended for it to be, that the federal government gets to do X, Y, and Z, and that's it. Everything else is left to the states, the enumerated powers. So in his power grab on this situation, he's seen what's gone on in North Carolina. He sees the battle that's brewing here in Fort Worth, and it's going to get ugly because this superintendent's planting his heels. He decides to release a decree. He sends a letter, and it didn't have Barack Obama's signature on it because he's a coward. It was signed by officials from the Justice Department and the Department of Education, and it was sent out earlier this morning, Friday. And in this letter, he wants to set out guidelines. Now, these are not legally binding guidelines, but he wants to say this is what I fully expect from any school who receives funds from the federal government. This is the way this needs to go. Now, keep in mind, there are 55 million kids that this is not an issue for them. They're not transgender. It's fine the way it is. And when you look at the actual adults out there who claim to be transgender, the number ranges somewhere from 1 in 330 to 1 in 2,400. It's such a small fraction of people. But in this letter, they dictate how the schools should play. If they want to continue to receive federal funding, This is how it's going to go. And Loretta Lynch, this legal hack, the U.S. Attorney General, released in a statement Thursday, there is no room in our schools for discrimination of any kind, including discrimination against transgender students on the basis of their sex. And there it is. They're trying to loosen that definition of sex to include gender identity, and it simply doesn't. Now, Lynch's letter echoes the administration's 2014 claim that's decades old, bringing sexual discrimination against men or women, who also bars discrimination against people who claim their gender identity is different from their male or female genetics and genitalia. My point exactly. Lynch claimed the new federal decree, quote, gives administrators, teachers, and parents the tools they need to protect transgender students from peer harassment and to identify and address unjust school policies. Look, I have no problem with administrators stepping up and saying, don't pick on this kid, that you're out of line. It's the same as any other kid. There shouldn't be this situation where special rules are set aside for special classes. The letter will also inform school districts that they won't even be allowed to require some evidence that the child is transgender or undergoing treatment or has sex change procedures. That no test rule reflects progressives' hostility to any test or rule that limit people's choice of fluid gender identity. So this is new. This idea that they can go back and forth. And this is why I'm so upset by this. It's because one day Johnny can claim he's Susie and the next he's back to being Johnny. It's fluid. Now tell me that doesn't kick open the door to all kinds of problems. Obama's letter will also inform district administrators that as soon as a student and his parent or legal guardian asserts a chosen gender that differs from previous representations or records, that school must act in accordance with the claim. According to the New York Times, this letter will be accompanied by a 25-page document describing, quote, emergency practices, laying out how schools have already addressed the issues. In Oregon, it's a liberal state, I get it. Officials have recently released instructions to schools to implement much of this new gender identity ideology. And here's part of the quote. Based on the guidance, transgender students should be treated consistent with their gender identity and should not be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subject to harassment or other forms of discrimination on the basis of gender identity in any program or activity. And then it goes on to list a number of activities. So you're telling me that if me, a mediocre high school athlete, decided one day that I want to go break all the girls' records because men are physically superior to women in strength and speed. We know that to be a fact. Now, mentally and emotionally, women got us licked, but physically, men are a stronger sex. And so if I want to go break all the women's records, can I? All I have to do is say, yeah, I'm Sally. And in Oregon, I would get to play. I'd get to run girls track. I'd get to play girls basketball. I could play girls volleyball, whatever the case may be. Now, transgender students in Oregon may not want their parents to know about their experiments in transgender identity. So officials have claimed that counselors should balance the goal of supporting the student with the requirement that the parents be kept informed about their children. So now they no longer have to inform the parents in Oregon. The counselor gets to make a judgment call as to whether that's something that will help the student or not. They get to call the shot. So now the Obama administration has decided that parents aren't equipped with handling this situation, that school counselors are much better fit to be parents than the parents of these children. And even if that sentiment holds true in rare case, it's not the government's call. It's not the government who gets to decide how you parent your child. It's not the government's decision on how you spend your money if for whatever reason Johnny thinks he's a Sue today. That's not how this works. It's baffling to me that this is even a conversation these days. I am struck that we are having a real conversation, and there is a real movement out there to inject into our schools this idea that, one, if it feels good, do it. If you think you're a woman, then go get it. We got your back. You'll be able to go into the girls' restroom with all the girls. You'll be able to shower with all the girls. It doesn't matter your biological makeup. It doesn't matter how those kids are going to respond in which this transgender person is forced upon them. I've mentioned it several times in Washington State. This is the first time this situation caught my attention. There's an administration there authorized in the state to issue law. And the legislature can come in and override that law, but it's just like any federal administration. If they pass this law, then it's as good as legislature. And they decided that in Washington, this is how it was going to be, that if you're transgender, you can go into any public restroom you see fit. You can go into any public shower that you see fit. And that's how it worked. Well, part of the piece I read had 3 sexual abuse victims in there saying that these are triggers. The left's big on triggers and safe zones and things of that nature. Well, these sexual abuse victims have a real trigger. And if they go to work out and they decide to shower before they go to work and they look over and they see male genitalia, 3 of these women said that it just brought back all that pain that I went through, that I felt violated, that my space and my privacy had been violated again. We're not thinking about those girls who may be sexually abused, have been sexually abused, are being sexually abused, because it does happen, ladies and gentlemen. And they hide those scars. And sometimes they say, sometimes they don't. But we have those individuals in society as well. And now you're going to inject a man into the woman's locker room at a high school, peeling back the layers of the scars that this young child has built up from the abuse that they received, that they did nothing to deserve, and you're going to re-victimize them. That's how this is going to work. I just simply cannot believe this is a real conversation. I cannot believe that the president of the United States is fighting this fight with everything he has, with everything that's going on. I mean, I know he's a leftist liberal. I know he's a socialist. I know he doesn't care about American exceptionalism. I know he cares about one thing, and that's stamping his legacy into the pages of history, so that he could be up there with FDR but this isn't it. This isn't the answer. He's swung and missed with Obamacare. He's swinging and missing with this. He's swung and missed with the Syrian refugees. He's swung and missed on immigration. At what point do you wake up and realize you are out of touch with the American people? I have a feeling it's going to be a day mid-January when we come to that realization.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Do you need residential or commercial roof repairs, maintenance, or replacement in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? J-Bow Roofing has over 35 years of experience in the industry, and they have the know-how to keep you dry and comfortable. J-Bow Roofing also offers a roofing system that is warranted against hail of any size, and this is a no-excuse warranty. J-Bow Roofing doesn't want their customers to cringe every time it hails. They want customers to have complete confidence that their roofing system is going to stand up to the task. Basically, J-Bow Roofing wants to stop the insanity lifetime roofing period. Re-roof once and be done. A J-Bow roof product is aesthetically pleasing and tougher than anything you can find. A J-Bow roof is so nice your neighbors will want it. J-Bow lifetime roofing systems are strong as steel, tougher than hail, and guaranteed. So it'll be the last roof you put on your house. Looking for a price? Get a no-cost, no-obligation quote today at jabeau.com. That's jabeau.com. J-Bow Roofing. Your long-term satisfaction is their immediate goal.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-398-8309. 800-398-8309. 800-398-8309. That's 800-398-8309.
Twisted Roads Trading Post in Crowley, Texas is your premier biker apparel, leather, and accessory store. Stop in and visit with brothers Ron and Carl Phillips. Twisted Roads Trading Post carries leather jackets, chaps, vests, accessories, gifts, and more. Open 5 days a week, Wednesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sundays, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Got a motorcycle or trike to sell? Let Twisted Roads Trading Post be the place to go. Their park and sell lot is now available and anxious to show off your ride. Sewing, embroidery, and T-shirt printing services are also available throughout the week. Call today or visit TwistedRoadsTradingPost.com or find and like them on Facebook. Located west of Crowley on FM 1187, then south on FM 1902. Go 1.3 miles and look for the flags. 817-768-8761. That's 817-768-8761. Twisted Roads Trading Post. If the flags are flying, we're open.
Hey everybody, your pal Gavin Mitchell here from my friends at Texas Elite Landscape. We all have that embarrassing spot in our yard we just can't seem to get grass to grow. Or perhaps you're tired of pumping hundreds and thousands of dollars into your yard just to get it to turn green when the weather warms up. Or maybe the constant maintenance is just too much to bear. Well, my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping are the most respected synthetic grass installation specialist in North Texas. Locally owned and operated, they have installed over 1 million square feet of the highest quality grass made right here in the USA. And I know what you're thinking. Is it pet and child friendly? You bet it is. So whether you want your yard looking picture perfect year round, no matter what the season is, or perhaps you'd like a putting green in the backyard to keep your husband home on Saturdays, give my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping a call today. 214-298-7726. That's 214-298-7726. Or find them at TexasEliteLandscaping.com.
Let's get back to the program. If you're sick of the garbage that comes out of Washington, D.C., then it's time to arm yourself with knowledge from the Blue Collar Professor. Here's your host, Dr. Gavin Mitchell.
Boy, Hillary Clinton just can't seem to stay out of the news for all the wrong reasons. I have never seen so much controversy surrounding a presidential candidate. And you expect some of this, right? You expect a lot of it when somebody's running for president. You expect the attacks. You've got the Oppo research going on. Yeah, you expect some of this, some of the dirt to fly. But these are just wrongs that she has committed that are being exposed. If you are looking for the show, I want to remind you, you can do so a number of ways. You can do it on demand, iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, and Google Play as well. Remember, we are still pushing forward with those Spreaker followers, so if you have not followed, it would mean the world to us if you wouldn't mind. We're on the Conservative Radio Network, conservativeradionetwork.com, every weekday at 5 p.m. You can also find us on the 405 Media, K98 Talk, Sackheads Media Radio, and High Plains Radio as well, so special thanks to those guys. And then each and every Saturday night, we have our live offering. Gives you an opportunity to participate in the show, and we do so from our terrestrial flagship station, News and Information 570 KLIF in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you are outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can tune in on conservativeradionetwork.com and still be a part of the live show. So we've talked about all the shenanigans flying around with Hillary Clinton. Well, this Clinton cash thing is growing legs, and it's growing legs big time. There was a book out, and I'm trying to think of, so the book comes out, right? And there's a little buzz about it, but like I said, it's growing legs. It's starting to move forward. And what was in this book, it just unleashes the financial situation of Hillary and Bill Clinton, where they get their money, how they get their money, how they spend that money. And it is a disaster, ladies and gentlemen. The article I read about this situation said, look, if you want to know about the Clintons, just follow the money, follow the cash. It'll tell you all you need to know. And what we learned, in addition to the $250,000 speeches Hillary Clinton gave, Bill Clinton was giving speeches worth $750,000. And I don't think it was tips on how to pick up women. I don't think that was it. Maybe to some guys that would be worth $750,000. But I think they were just generic, hey, I'm the president. Here's what I got to say. Come take a picture with me and I'm out of there. $750,000. But aside from that absurdity and those astronomical charges, what we found is that even while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, there were donations to the Clinton Foundation from terrorist states, Saudi Arabia, Middle Eastern states. I mean, all over the country, all over the world, giving donations to Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. And then they go on to find out that only about 6 cents of every dollar goes towards the cause. And I think one of the causes they mentioned was that we've got to stomp out hunger. We're trying to do something so that no one has done before. We've got to eliminate hunger. It's a moral imperative. Well, it's 6 cents on the dollar. You've got a long and steep road to climb. Now, Billy Clinton made 13 speeches while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, in which he charged more than $500,000 in fees. That's a big deal because these speeches were for whoever would buy them. Of course, they're shaking hands, they're kissing babies behind the curtain. But that movie, based on the book, it's 1 hour in length, is set to be released the night before the Democratic National Convention. And so I saw a scroller on Fox News this morning, and it said Hillary Clinton needed less than 20% of the remaining delegates. I think it was 14% is the actual number for her to achieve the magic number of winning the nomination. Can you imagine if you're the DNC and Hillary Clinton has effectively won the nomination? She has the delegates she needs. And the night before, the lid is blown off. And there's enough in this book, there's enough in this movie that people are claiming this is going to provoke an investigation. There's too many coincidences, too many possible conflicts of interest. There's too many situations that could potentially compromise her integrity and her duty. This conflict of interest is all over this thing. And it just goes back to her judgment. It goes back to her thinking she's above the law and she could do whatever she wants. And enough's enough, but it doesn't stop there. Breitbart came out with this article, and I know they're not the first. I've seen it in a couple places, but I wanted this thing to play out. And within the emails, it has been found that Hillary Clinton had an unapproved BlackBerry. She got a BlackBerry, and it wasn't secure to correspond on with issues of national security, just like this private email server. And she was told unequivocally, you cannot have that in your office. Don't bring it here. And she said, look, I'm about to go overseas for a week. You know, I get what they're saying, but blah, blah, blah. Blows it off. Then she was told, you cannot have that BlackBerry when you are in countries like China, Middle Eastern countries. You can't do it. It compromises too much. It's too easy to be hacked. And she didn't listen. All of that happened in 2009. Reports show that as late as 2011, she still had the BlackBerry. She still had the BlackBerry, ignored the instructions, and ignored the rules. And all of this is coming down to one thing, folks. It's an indictment of the Espionage Act. And I have in front of me exactly why this is what it is. The Espionage Act of 1913, prosecutors must show that a person's gross negligence allowed national defense information to be lost, stolen, abstracted, or destroyed. That is why Guccifer, that hacker from Eastern Europe or Russia, is so important, because if he actually got his hands on this, they can prove it. She's now guilty. Now, one of the exchanges, I'm sorry, but I'm just seeing this, and this is Clinton referring to the no BlackBerry contact permitted in her office. And I'm on the way to the shuttle to New York, Clinton said in an email to personal Clinton health advisor Mark Hyman on February 27, 2009. Tomorrow, I leave for Egypt, Israel, Europe, and Turkey for a week. I hope the meeting and the hearings go well. Let me know. So she's saying, look, I got it. I've got the information. I'm choosing to ignore it. I'm on the way to the airport, and then I'm going to these countries that they told me not to take my BlackBerry, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care. She thinks she's above the law. When you have this kind of reckless decision-making, ladies and gentlemen, when you have this negligence when it comes to protecting national security, when your disregard for this country and its well-being is as high as Hillary Clinton, and then you couple that with her being completely outspoken about continuing this president's policies over at least the next 4 years, when you look at all of that, how can a rational person come to the conclusion that that's a good option? I don't see how it's possible. Moreover, I don't see how it's possible that someone who claims to be a constitutional loving conservative can say, well, I'm not voting, I hate Trump, knowing that you not voting or you writing in is as good as a vote for Hillary. When you have all this evidence of Hillary Clinton and you're still trying to take the moral high ground, is that serious? Or are we for real on that? We can't be. We simply can't be. Coming up next, the federal court speaks on Obamacare, and it looks like the GOP might have found a chink in the armor.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Are you tired of making payments to a security company that doesn't seem to have the same values as you and doesn't offer the most recent technology? American Defense Systems is a veteran-owned and operated security company specializing in home security and automation solutions to fit your lifestyle while keeping small business owners more connected to work while on the go. American Defense Systems makes practical recommendations for families to keep your home safe without trying to sell you a bunch of extra stuff. And for businesses, American Defense Systems wants to provide you with the comfort of knowing that your business is safe by allowing you the monitoring options you need without loading you up with too many extras. American Defense Systems' goal is to provide your home or business with an affordable and technically superior security and automation system. If you're not happy with your current security system or provider, set up a no-cost consultation today at AmericanDefenseSystems.com. That's AmericanDefenseSystems.com. American Defense Systems, proud to be a veteran-owned company.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. Again, 800-631-9123.
Do you believe in conservative politics, common sense issues, and the U.S. Constitution? So does Matt Locke. Who is Matt Locke? Well, Matt's just a guy that believes, like many of you, that our country is headed in the wrong direction. If you feel the same, then go to Matt's new website, themattlockshow.com. Matt is a friend of the Gavin Mitchell Show, and he's a conservative podcaster and talk show host who will shoot you straight and provide information that is important to the conservative listener. You'll hear political commentary, news, and he'll discuss the current issues that will affect you during this election season. Listen to Matt's daily podcast anytime on his website at themattlockshow.com, spelled MATTLOCKE, or find his show on Spreaker.com and TuneIn.com. He's also syndicated on ICRN, the internet's new conservative radio network. Join Matt and his guest on the Matt Locke Show daily at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific on conservativeradionetwork.com, or listen to any of his 400 archive shows at any time on themattlockshow.com. The Matt Locke Show, all things conservative politics
politics. The following message is brought to you by Health Markets, your first choice when you need health insurance for your small business. Do you offer health insurance to your employees? Call us now and see if you can save money. Do you want to offer vision and dental to your employees? Call us. Do you think you're paying too much for your current health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money, too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-470-8021. 800-470-8021. 800-470-8021. That's 800-470-8021.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
Hey, liberals, try rooting for your own country for a change. Our blue-collar educator of all things common sense does. Now, back to the Gavin Mitchell Show.
So one of the big beefs about Obamacare was that the Supreme Court decided they were going to rewrite the law from the bench. And that's problematic because that is not the Supreme Court's role. But this George Bush appointed Chief Justice Roberts decided he was going to rewrite the law. Why not? And then had the audacity in his opinion to say, look, it's not the job of the judiciary to protect constituents from their mistakes. Talking about you voted for this guy. You elected him. You got to live with the consequences. So the House filed suit. And this is the House of U.S. Representatives filed suit in a U.S. District Court. And they're suing Health and Human Services Secretary Sylvia Birdwell and Treasury Secretary Jack Lew over this situation. And the problem here is that Congress is the only one who can authorize spending money. That's it. The president doesn't get to decide to write a check out of the funds of our taxpayer dollars. Congress has to approve it. Now, in the Affordable Care Act, it does provide a taxpayer subsidy payment to people buying insurance from Obamacare off the exchange. It also allows for payments directly to these exchanges, directly to these companies, right? It's a subsidy to help keep health care down. That's in the law. And so Barack Obama has been scratching checks left, right, and making sure that, and it's cost millions upon billions of dollars at this point. But now the House is saying, hold on. There has to be appropriations here. We have to authorize that money being spent. Just because it's generally painted in this law doesn't mean you have an open checkbook to write a check to any insurance agency anytime you want. We still have to authorize that through a budgeting process, and it's supposed to happen every month. Every month there's supposed to be appropriation bills passed, and it's supposed to be a piecemeal process as the year goes on. Well, when these piecemeal appropriation processes do not happen, you get an omnibus bill at the end of the year where people are scrambling to scratch out a budget and get this thing passed so the government can keep going. But in those appropriations, you have to designate specific funds to be spent for this specific purpose. That's not what's been happening. Barack Obama thinks he has a blank check. And so Judge Rosemary Collier, this is the judge proceeding over the case, sided with the White House, holding that only Congress can decide to spend taxpayer money and that these Obama administration payments injure the House. I don't know why. Oh, sided with the House of Representatives, not the White House. Okay. That these Obama administration payments injure the House by seizing one of Congress's constitutional powers. She's talking about the House and the Senate. Only these two bodies acting together can pass laws, including laws necessary to spend public money. In this respect, Article 1 of the Constitution is very clear. No money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, which is the role of Congress. Now, this went to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals agreed that, yeah, you know what? That's probably right. We're going to hear this. We're going to hear this. But they stayed the ruling, which means Barack Obama can continue these payments until this whole thing is cured, until it runs through the process of the court system and a decision is made. So Barack Obama can keep on spending. Thank you, Barack Obama, for appointing me to a federal judicial position. We're going to let you do what you want until this thing's cured. And we all know how long these things take. It's amazing to me how this continues. Next, I want to talk about a congressman who pulls the curtain back on everything that goes on Capitol Hill. He's a Democratic congressman. He's got a big D next to his name. And holding true to form, he doesn't have the stones to acknowledge who he is. Coming up next.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. Again, 800-631-9123.
Do you need residential or commercial roof repairs, maintenance, or replacement in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? J-Bow Roofing has over 35 years of experience in the industry, and they have the know-how to keep you dry and comfortable. J-Bow Roofing also offers a roofing system that is warranted against hail of any size, and this is a no-excuse warranty. J-Bow Roofing doesn't want their customers to cringe every time it hails. They want customers to have complete confidence that their roofing system is going to stand up to the task. Basically, J-Bow Roofing wants to stop the insanity, lifetime roofing period. Re-roof once and be done. A J-Bow roof product is aesthetically pleasing and tougher than anything you can find. A J-Bow roof is so nice your neighbors will want it. J-Bow lifetime roofing systems are strong as steel, tougher than hail, and guaranteed. So it'll be the last roof you put on your house. Looking for a price? Get a no-cost, no-obligation quote today at jabeau.com. That's jabeau.com. J-Bow Roofing. Your long-term satisfaction is their immediate goal.
Hey everybody, your pal Gavin Mitchell here from my friends at Texas Elite Landscape. We all have that embarrassing spot in our yard we just can't seem to get grass to grow. Or perhaps you're tired of pumping hundreds and thousands of dollars into your yard just to get it to turn green when the weather warms up. Or maybe the constant maintenance is just too much to bear. Well, my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping are the most respected synthetic grass installation specialist in North Texas. Locally owned and operated, they have installed over 1 million square feet of the highest quality grass made right here in the USA. And I know what you're thinking. Is it pet and child friendly? You bet it is. So whether you want your yard looking picture perfect year round, no matter what the season is, or perhaps you'd like a putting green in the backyard to keep your husband home on Saturdays, give my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping a call today. 214-298-7726. That's 214-298-7726. Or find them at TexasEliteLandscaping.com.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-398-8309. 800-398-8309. 800-398-8309. That's 800-398-8309.
If you happen to drive by the studios during a commercial break and you see a guy on the roof waving an American flag, that's our blue-collar doctor of common sense. And now here he is, your host, Dr. Gavin Mitchell.
So we close out this Friday with the confessions of Congressman X. An anonymous U.S. congressman, said to be a Democrat, has penned a tell-all book which he makes several, quote, deeply disturbing, alleged confessions about the reality of the nation's political system. Now, look, I'm all for a reveal-all book, especially when it's as intriguing as what goes on in Capitol Hill. Right? We all want to know what goes on behind closed doors. Is it really like the House of Cards? You know, is it that kind of scandalous? Is it more proper and uptight? How do these negotiations really work? How much time's really spent being a congressman or a senator, and how much time spent, you know, stroking the egos of these big donors and these lobbyists? And I'd love to know all that. But you cannot write a book anonymously and expect me to drink the Kool-Aid, right? I understand why he did it. He didn't want all his colleagues to sell him up the river for letting everybody look behind the curtain. I understand why he did it. But you can't, there's no credibility to penning this anonymously. The article reads, the book, The Confessions of Congressman X, is described by the publisher as a, quote, devastating inside look at the dark side of Congress as revealed by one of its own. Give me a break, right? I mean, I'm sure this is going to be entertaining, and I'm sure it's going to be great. But if I wanted to be entertained at anonymous what's the word I'm looking for? Implications, insinuations. That's the word I was looking for. Insinuations. Then I'll watch House of Cards, right? That gets me closer than maybe this does. But in addition to painting a dark picture of how lawmakers operate, the author also refers to American voters as, quote, incredibly ignorant and a, quote, nation of naive, self-absorbed sheep who crave instant gratification. Well, now we're talking. Now that's some meat right there. He's not talking about this audience, I'll tell you that right now. That's not the case at all. What he's talking about are those leftist, liberal, Black Lives Matter group. This audience, you're caught up. You're informed. You're educated. We may not agree, but at least you have the information you need to form an opinion. It's unbelievable. Liberal news blog Political Wire reported the author is a Democrat congressman. Let's talk about some of the things that come from his book. These are excerpts. Most of my colleagues are dishonest career politicians who revel in the power and special interest money that's lavished upon them. Not news. My main job is to keep my job, to get reelected. It takes precedence over everything. Not news. Voters are incredibly ignorant and know little about our form of government and how it works. Not news. It's far easier than you think to manipulate a nation of naive, self-absorbed sheep who crave instant gratification. That's not news. We've seen Barack Obama play those leftist sheep people like a fiddle. Fundraising is so time-consuming, I seldom read any bills I vote on. Like many colleagues, I don't know how the legislation will be implemented or what it'll cost. Okay, that may be news. We spend money we don't have. I don't need to read anymore. Fact. Not news. And so while I appreciate what this guy's doing, I really do, and I appreciate his attempt to bring transparency, if you do not sign your name to that letter, it is worthless to me. That's a coward's move. No secret this guy's a Democrat because he's a coward. He tucks his tail and runs. He's not willing to fight for what he believes in. If he believes in this so much to take the time he doesn't have to read legislation to write a book, right? He doesn't have time to read legislation. He doesn't even know what it'll cost or what it's about. He just goes the way the whip tells him to. So that no time he has, he wrote a book in that no time. And he wants us to drink the Kool-Aid that he's mixed up, but he doesn't even have the stones to pin his name to it. Do you understand where I'm going here? Well, I'm sure it's going to be entertaining, and I'm not even saying it's not going to be honest and truthful. It may be 100% fact. We can't use that. That doesn't do anything for us. All it is another House of Cards. It's a parody. Why? because he did not pin his name to the book. You have to pin your name to the book. Otherwise, it's moot. It's a smokescreen. And I understand what he's saying, but he didn't, and those excerpts that this article pulled out didn't bring anything new to the table. It's all old news. And so I give the guy a good try, old Congressman X. Way to go, the old college try, but it means nothing to me. It might be entertaining. Folks, that's going to do it. Believe it or not, this is episode 99. Episode 100 coming Monday. Join us for that. Keep in mind you can catch us this weekend on News and Information KLIF 570 AM at 8 p.m. Central and ConservativeRadioNetwork.com at the same time. In the words of the great Ray Wiley Hubbard, on the days I keep my gratitude higher than my expectation, I have really good days. Have yourself a great day. I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to The Gavin Mitchell Show, the Blue Collar Professor, produced in Fort Worth, Texas. If you like what you just heard, subscribe on iTunes and Spreaker.com. These and other links can be found on our website at thegavinmitchellshow.com. Be sure to tell your friends and colleagues about the Blue Collar Professor's daily podcast. Join us again next time as we take the liberals to school. All opinions expressed by the host or guests on this series are solely their opinions and do not reflect the views, policies, or positions of the Gavin Mitchell Show or its affiliates. This has been a Ron Phillips Pinnacle Broadcast Holdings production.